Hey, what's going on, crypto people? It's your boy Crypto Siege with another day in the life and the crazy life that is cryptocurrency. Guys, I gotta tell you what, I have been I am literally like upset, literally pissed off today. Um, after listening to some videos on YouTube about cryptocurrency and um, what is he called it the what is the word, the when you're trying to hide something from someone, when you're a magician and you got your tricks to hide the real deal and disguise and mask what you're really doing. Sleight hand, right? Sleight of hands that is going on in the cryptocurrency space with old money. And he calls them rich. I call it old money. He calls them the super rich and wealthy. I call it old money. And the games and tricks that are being played out. And I thought it was really interesting that he mentioned that it's not a coincidence that the price of the cryptocurrencies are being held down. It's not a coincidence uh, when uh, when they talk positively about Bitcoin or Ethereum or Ripple or Litecoin. It's not a coincidence. It's not a coincidence when they mention the progress in an ETF. Everything has been coordinated, and I came to recently discover. See, like a lot of people, here's the here's the thing right now. The vast majority of us that perhaps are in the cryptocurrency space, and those who are not, probably even more so, believe that the wealthy, the super wealthy, old money is not being even bothered with cryptocurrency. That's what that's what the average person, average Jane or Joe thinks. That's what the average investor in cryptocurrency thinks right now. They think that the old money and the rich and the super rich are not even bothered, have not even considered Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. And here's the truth, guys. That is 100% false. It is an illusion that old money is sending out via the media. It's a story that they're telling you because they don't want you to know that they are literally buying up all the cryptocurrencies, buying up especially the top five. That's the reality. That's the reality. Is that they're buying it up. It's just something called over the counters. And over the counter trading, if you will, is something that doesn't get registered. Like it's not going through Coinbase or Gemini or Kraken or Bittrex or BitMEX or Cryptopia. It's not going through those exchanges. Over the counter trading is done by the wealthy and the super wealthy to hide the fact that they're trading, that they're purchasing and buying. OTCs, and there's big money for people who can provide, the OTC type of stuff. Um, I should have paid more attention. I was watching a video on YouTube, channel Crypto Rich, and he was interviewing an OTC guy, and they were talking about the amount of money, and right. So we're talking, $200,000, $100,000 per transaction, right? We're not talking $500 worth or $1,000 worth or $10,000 worth, right? Of Bitcoin. We're talking 100,000, 200,000, $500,000 in Bitcoin. That's what the OTCs do. They cover that. It's over the counter trading, and it doesn't get registered in the numbers of trading volume on the exchanges. Unfortunately, a lot of people in this space and outside of the space don't understand that major money, big old time money, banks and institutions have been in this crypto game for a while now. And I'm gonna give you an example of a narrative that old money is trying to spend on you. They're trying to put it out on you. They're trying to share this with you and get you to believe that this is the story. And I'm going to just read this really quick. Now, this is the CEO of Coinbase, which is arguably the largest exchange in cryptocurrency in the world. Like crazy. Blow to Bitcoin as Coinbase CEO makes stark warning. Makes stark warning. Right? It says Bitcoin and cryptocurrency adoption rates around the world are growing, but not quickly enough to prevent the Bitcoin price from falling. Right? And now the chief executive of San Francisco-based Coinbase, one of the world's largest, I thought it was the largest, has warned, maybe Binance, has warned that widespread mass Bitcoin adoption for payments is going to be a long time coming. The Bitcoin price is currently just over 6 after falling below the psychological barrier yesterday for the second time this year. The Bitcoin price is down some 70% from its highs at the end of last year, and many of newer cryptocurrencies that have been created in the last few years have been all but wiped out. The narrative. Now, just as something I think is interesting, and I'd love for you guys to, by the way, if you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button and smash the subscribe button, as I like to say, and hit the notification bell so you can get more videos like this as well, and some more insight on what the real game, about the real game that's being played in the cryptocurrency space by old money. And subscribing to the channel will teach you how to win the game that's being played. It says here, I think it will be quite some time before you cross the street to Starbucks in the US and pay with crypto. Now, this is from Coinbase, which it says Coinbase's Brian Armstrong warned in an interview with Bloomberg. And he goes on to report Starbucks was recently, no, that's not what I want to say. What else did he have to say? Customers will not be able to pay for Frappuccinos with Bitcoin, a Starbucks spokesperson said. Yeah, so I thought that's really, really interesting. So the CEO is skimming around the truth, and then they put a spokesperson, right? Unnamed, unknown person to say, customers will not be able to pay for Frappos with Bitcoin, which is, it's not true. That is 100% incorrect. 100% incorrect. A Starbucks spokesman said after it was announced the coffee chain was involved. That's not true. So, and then again, here's the thing I want you to point out. This is a Starbucks spokesperson, right? But when it talks about the kind of, kind of like the gloom and doom, the Coinbase CEO can speak on it, right? Now, why would the Coinbase CEO want to speak on mass adoption, or that it's going to take a little bit longer than what people think? Why is that? It's because that's to spin a narrative in your mind that you still have time to get involved in the space. That's to spin a narrative for the average Joe or Jane, or for the retail investor, to think that they have time to get involved in this space or add their positions and things like that. And then they put the spokesperson to say something that is just literally just not true. Like, here's the example. This thing is called a shift card. And guess, I don't know if you can see it right here, but the shift card is tied to Coinbase, the Coinbase exchange. It's a shift card with a Visa logo. And so when you go to Coinbase, well, first you got to go to shiftpayments.com, sign up for the shift card, right? Because that's a lot of questions. I'm in the gym, hanging out with some friends. Well, how can you spend it, man? How can you spend the Bitcoin? You can't spend it anywhere. You can't use Bitcoin somewhere. How can you spend your Bitcoin? Right? That's the narrative that the old money puts out there, and they want you guys to, and they want us to believe it, right? It's Coinbase. It's tied to Shift Card. It's tied to Coinbase. It's their card. But a spokesperson said that part, where you can't go to Starbucks. We took some of our winnings off of our cryptocurrency, Electroneum. We took some winnings off. Whatever. Took a few $1,000s, took it off, put it on the card. It's got a daily limit of 1,000. It's another one I think that has more of a spending limit, but this is 1,000 daily. And, we, you know, went on our trip, paid for our expenses, went to Starbucks, did everything we wanted to do with that shift card. $1,000 each day, and we had, we had a few $1,000s, right? So, in Bitcoin, so $1,000 each day using that card. So we went to Coinbase, right? And so here's what happened, right? Took a little bit off the top of a cryptocurrency that we owned. We owned a cryptocurrency, bought it for just about a little bit less than a cent. Took some off the top 2 or 3 times, totaled whatever, okay? More than a handful of Bitcoin, okay? Took it over to Coinbase, sent it over to Coinbase, got the shift card thing. And so now whatever you have on Coinbase is tied to that card in Bitcoin, right? Okay, cool. Check, download the app, download the shift card app on our phone. Off we go on our trip, hanging out. And I forget where we went. I don't know if we went to, I think we went to Colombia. Went to Colombia, shift card here, shift card, wherever they take a visa. So it's not true. That's not true. But that's the narrative. You see that? Now, the reason why the Coinbase CEO didn't say that about you can't go to Fraps and buy it, because he knows it's not true. You can put a spokesperson up. You can put an unknown spokesperson to say that, because how are they gonna know who it was? And if enough people care or even know that that's not true and write in, they'll come up with something. He or she has been whatever. They're not gonna fire him. Maybe he or she has been whatever. You spoke out of turn or whatever it might see to cover. But the narrative is to get you to think that mass adoption in cryptocurrency is ways away, that that the vast majority of people can't use it. You understand what I'm saying? The narrative is to keep you away or to get you to think that you have time to get involved. And the main narrative is to keep you away, right? And I think that it's very, 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 very hugely important to understand there's a game being played. That there's a reason why, if you go to CoinMarketCap, and I thought, yeah, if you go to CoinMarketCap right now, there's a reason why Bitcoin is trading for like $6,300 or $6,400. There's a reason why all the altcoins are down, right? And you got to get that there's a game being played, a narrative being spent, just like with the tech, the internet boom, just like with the real estate boom or bubble, the narrative was being played to get you out of that space. The dot-com bubble. Do you know that Apple, like if you owned the Apple stock back in the 90s, Apple was like the Antichrist. Like you were literally laughed out of, right? You got laughed at so hard at work you couldn't go to work. They would laugh you out of a building because of the narrative being spent by old money. Amazon, the same thing. 94, 96 retracement in this value, loss of value. Laughed out of the building. Shame on you for owning it. Who do you think was buying it when it was 94% loss in value? Who do you think was buying Microsoft and Google? Google just wrote off for dead time and time and time and time again. Was it just people just kind of whatever? Like this writer for Forbes? Or was the narrative, right? Like there's, someone says this is what we're going to put out on Forbes, and someone says this is what we're going to put out on Fortune. Do you own Fortune magazine? Do you own Forbes magazine? Like, you understand what I'm saying? They control it. They control it. They control it. And it's time for the average Joe or Jane in this space. It's time for us to get educated about the real deal, what the real game is. And the real game is that they're trying to push down the price of these cryptocurrencies as much as they possibly can, so that they can come in with trillions of dollars and take it all away from you and give you no shot to even own $0.01 worth of Bitcoin. That's the game. That's the game. I'm going to show you some other things here. And I just want you to kind of think about that. Think about that. Like a lot of people, again, like I said in the beginning, a lot of people think that old money, the wealthy, the super rich aren't interested in cryptocurrency just because Jamie Dimon says one thing and then got busted a couple weeks later. I mean, he literally said he was going to fire people he employed them. He was going to fire them if they talked about or bought Bitcoin. But yet, in another country, one of his subsidiaries for his company was buying it up. You have to, guys, the internet is here for us all to learn the real game. We just, quite frankly, have to pay attention to it. And that's another thing I thought that was interesting. He says, Armstrong, this same guy says, well, talking about mass adoption is going to be really tough for us in the States. People are looking out for us and they want to put the regulations in, and we want to save the average Joe or Jane. But he says, however, Armstrong is confident that an economy is going through turmoil, such as Venezuela and Turkey. Bitcoin and cryptos have their strongest use case. Of course they do, because they don't have a choice there. But because we have a choice and we have a chance to participate in the same space, the average Joe or Jane like you and I has a choice and chance to participate in the same space as the wealthy. The wealthy are going to spin a narrative that says that Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies are crap. It's going to take forever. No one's interested in it. And then on the side, utilizing things like OTC, they're snatching it all up. That's the facts. They're snatching it all up from you. That's the fact. We're in a tight window, guys. I have to be honest with you. There's a tight window to be able to get some of the cryptocurrencies at a price that you can get them reasonably. Because when the trillions of dollars come in, now old money is in right now, but it's not the trillions upon trillions of dollars that can come into this space. That hasn't happened yet. When we talk about, Tika Torari talks about funds of funds and state pensions and billionaires starting these funds, to trade the cryptocurrency. When that kind of stuff happens, state pension fund money starts coming in. I mean, trillions of dollars. It's going to be major liquidity in the space, and it's going to be challenging to get you some Bitcoin. Then it's going to be challenging to get you some Bitcoin. Then that's why Tika Torari says I think everyone should at least get some Bitcoin. He knows the game. He talked about it. He shared it. He talked about it. If you have a chance to get the Palm Beach research, you need to get that. Look into it. I mean, they have some versions that are inexpensive. You don't necessarily have to get the cryptocurrency one unless you can afford it. But it's very, very good insight. He's a guy that's willing. Now he was a Wall Street guy. He's inside. He's still an insider today because it was so hugely popular. The youngest VP in the history of Shearson Lehman, ran his own hedge fund at one time. Came out of retirement to do the cryptocurrency thing because he saw the market and potential. But he's trying to help you and I. He could have just took his money and put it in and hung out with the boys and the old boys network. The good old boy club and do his thing there. But he didn't. He's trying to do something for the masses, for the average Jane or Joe, and teaching people how to get involved in the cryptocurrency space and how to do it the right way. But let me show you some examples of what's really, really going on. Look at this here. It says that the New York Stock Exchange owner wants to bring Bitcoin to your 401k. So you heard about the New York Stock Exchange, right? Here's what they're doing. This thing is jumping all over the place. Forgive me. Okay, this morning in ICE, the Intercontinental Exchange, a traded colossus that owns the New York Stock Exchange and other global marketplaces, now this has been out since August 3rd, announced that it is forming a new company called BAKKT, BOT, The new venture, which is expected to launch in November. So let me ask you something. Why is a company, an exchange that owns the New York Stock Exchange and like 22 or 23 other exchanges is putting something together with the New York Stock Exchange to get involved in the cryptocurrency space? If, like the Coinbase person says, that it's going to be a long time coming in terms of mass adoption. And I'm going to show you something that proves that they've been in the space even for years now, for as much as 5 years from now. They've been in already for 5 years. But the average Jane or Joe walking around thinks the wealthy's not interested. Oh no, it's this and that. Only the bad guys are using it. All this. That's the narrative being spent. You understand what I'm saying? The new venture, which is expected to launch in November, will offer a federally regulated market for Bitcoin. Like, why would an exchange as big as the New York Stock Exchange and its owner get involved in Bitcoin if it's just something? It's no big deal. It's just kind of what it is, type of deal. To achieve the vision, ICE is partnering with heavyweights from the worlds of technology and consulting and retail, Microsoft, Boston Consulting Group, and Starbucks. All right. I just want you to, why would they be doing that? Here's another example. And forgive me, guys. My thing is going really, really slow. This still hasn't connected. I don't understand that. What in the world? But why do you think that is? Why do you think that's going on? Why do you think that is perhaps going on? Let me type this in real quick. I don't know what happened to my Wi-Fi. I don't know what happened to the Wi-Fi here, but what in the world? But why do you guys think that is? Why do you think? And it's just the thing that I hope you guys really get. Look at Bitcoin; it's 6,300, trading over 6,300. Ethereum is down 208, less than $300. And Ripple's down as much as $3, $3 and change at one time. Bitcoin was as much as 17, 18,000, nearly 20,000. EOS is under $5. When it was almost as up at $10 at one point or higher. Stellar's down 20. Why do you think all of these coins are down? Who do you think controls and manipulates the market? Now don't get me wrong, that doesn't mean it's not a chance for you and I to get in, because it is. Because we can go to Coinbase or Bittrex or BitMEX or Cryptopia right now and buy some Bitcoin. We can go buy some Bitcoin at Coinbase right now. Right? We can participate. We're not Turkey. We're not Venezuela where there are no options. We can participate. But you have to understand that the market is being manipulated. The narrative is being spent out there and for a reason. Right? It's not an accident. Right? It's not an accident that happens. Let me try this site again. I don't know why the internet is not working. But there's a reason why that is going on. Yep. There's a reason why that's going on. And that's because old money doesn't want you and I to win. And they control the narrative. They can control the marketplace. It's coordinated. Everything that's going on in the crypto world today is being coordinated. Banks come together and talk about how they can dominate the market, how they can dominate this market. And what did I want to show you guys? I had something really, really interesting to show you from Trust Nodes about a meeting that took place. Let me see if it's further down here. No. But a meeting took place with the New York Stock Exchange and the ICE people. One of the people who kind of coordinated that whole thing happening. And I think it was on my Trust Node site, and I don't have it now. But it basically was saying that the people from ICE, and this guy's name is Loeffler, were saying that they met 5 years ago. 5 years ago to decide and figure out how they were going to deal with this thing that is cryptocurrency. How are they going to deal with that? 5 years ago. Let's see if I can't find it. I think it's later down in here, further down here. Yes, it is. Okay. At a recent meeting with the couple in the plush bond room at the New York Stock Exchange, Sprecher stressed that Loeffler has been a collaborator in charting ICE's next big move. Kelly and I brainstormed for 5 years to find a strategy for digital currency, says Sprecher. 5 years ago, they were strategizing and coming up for a way to take advantage and monopolize the digital currency space 5 years ago. We're talking about the ICE, like it owns like 23 or 24 exchanges. It owns the parent company for the New York Stock Exchange. But yet the vast majority of people think that old money and the rich and the super wealthy, the quote unquote smart people with their money because they're wealthy, aren't involved in cryptocurrency. And when it's the exact opposite, that's from 5 years ago, says there. So just think about that for a second. There's a reason why that is taking place. Where, and it's I was listening to the Modern Investor. If you guys haven't checked the channel, you definitely want to check out his channel. He believes that there's an infrastructure being put in place today. It's being set up for the wealthy, and they're calling it the stock exchange 2.0. It talks about the Jamaica Stock Exchange is beginning to trade crypto. Swiss banks, it's like the second or third bank, is now accepting cryptocurrencies as an asset. Swiss banks. Germany's second biggest stock exchange launches crypto trading of Bitcoin, Litecoin, and Ripple. That's a big one to print. I wrote it down, but unfortunately, my internet, I don't know what's going on with Google, isn't working. Germany's second biggest stock exchange launches the crypto trading of Bitcoin, Litecoin, and Ripple XRP. Japan's SBI crypto exchange adds XRP. Portugal exchange got involved in crypto. The New York Stock Exchange, I mentioned that, is opening a trading platform. Right? There's a reason for that. And again, I mentioned to you guys, here's an interesting thing, and I want you to really pay attention to this. It's on Crypto Slate, but I didn't pull it up on the internet. Check it out. Just Google Crypto Slate, Google Korean Bank. It says that during the 2017 bull run, the Korean banks, right? Because a lot of people equate, especially us small retail investors involved in the crypto space. Like the narrative when I first came in is how Bitcoin was anti-bank, right? That there's no way we're gonna do anything banks and this and that, and we're never gonna need the banks again. So the banks came up and got together and looked at this technology because they can, and said, we're going to own all of this cryptocurrency that we possibly can for a reason. So 2017 reported by Crypto Slate. Just Google it. It's a website. Korean Bank held $1.79 billion in crypto during the 2017 bull run. The article said that the banks actually held more Bitcoin. The banks, which is supposed to be the antithesis, right, for Bitcoin, held more Bitcoin than the average normal investor. So this narrative is trying to be spread out to us that the banks don't want, banks are trying to kill crypto, and they're just trying to get rid of Bitcoin. So no, they're buying it up. They're buying it up because what they're looking to do, come together, quite frankly, in my humble opinion, is to get you and I in a situation. Look, you think that the banks and the world banks, who do you think better understands the state of the fiat US dollar more so than the banks? Who do you think understands more so than anyone the state of the crazy loss of value in the US dollar? more so than the banks, right? And those guys come together, right? They meet up together, right? Like banks aren't going down without swinging hard, and they realize that the only avenue that they can, like, they cannot make it less popular. They cannot try to spin some narrative where, even though they still continue, they realize that their best shot to keep the masses from owning Bitcoin is to try to buy up as much as they possibly can, and to spend these narratives to say, oh, they're not really interested, it's this, it's that, and to put a blindfold over everybody's eyes to think that they're not involved and they're not buying it up. And here's the reason, in my humble opinion, why they're doing it. Because if, like, for example, if Turkey, and if we get into a situation like a Turkey or a Venezuela, and the fiat dollar has lost all its value, what are we going to turn to? What's going to be the alternative? Right now, we trade our time for dollars, for the fiat dollar. We trade our time for dollars. We are, not, right, the vast majority, right? We're full time. We're self-employed, right? But the vast majority of people trade their time for dollars at a job somewhere, right? For the fiat dollar that's lost 95% of its value since, I think, 1993, something like that, right? Who owns the companies? Who owns these businesses? Old money, the wealthy, the super rich. So we're trading our time for that dollar. They know that that dollar is going to at one point in time explode, become absolutely useless, zero value. What are we going to turn to? There's a reason why the owner of the New York Stock Exchange said, I believe that Bitcoin will be the world's first currency. In other words, every single country in the world will use it as a currency. So if that's the case, if that's possible, if you don't own any, how are you going to get some? In other words, the dollar is gone. Okay, it's over. How are you going to get some? How are you going to get some Bitcoin? We have a small window now to get it now, where we can just literally get on a site where we don't have to trade our time for dollars, and we can trade the fiat dollars for Bitcoin. That's where we are right now. There's going to come a point in time where we're not going to be able to take the fiat dollar and do that. And so now we'll be in a situation, the average Joe or Jane will be in a situation again where they're trading their time, except for now they'll be trading it for Bitcoin. That's what I believe is possible. That's what I believe could possibly happen. And I just, I got so pissed and so upset today that I just resolved it's time to up things up on this channel. Again, if you haven't already, please smash that subscribe button so you can get more videos like this. Smash that notification bell so that you'll know when I put out more videos, because it's time to turn the light on what's really going on in this marketplace. A lot of people are not listening. They're not paying attention to the true game. And the true game is that the narrative is being played for you to get you to think that Bitcoin is going to be this passing thing, that it's the Antichrist, the same way that they spent the narrative about Apple and Amazon and Google. Why don't you ask 10 of your boys if they own some Google, if they own some Apple? Some might own Apple, maybe. Ask them if they became a millionaire from owning Google, if they became a millionaire from owning Apple. That's why they say today you can do that with Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. Without question, that can be done. But the window is narrowing. It's narrowing quickly. And, it's narrowing quickly. So if you would drop something in the comments if you agree with that scenario, if you believe that, because that's what I believe. They're buying it all up. We're talking banks and exchanges. Why would banks and exchanges, why would they buy up Bitcoin? Because they're coordinating. They're all coordinating. And I don't want to paint a picture of gloom and doom. What I want to paint a picture of is to enlighten you what's going on and provide an opportunity for you. I mean, you have to do. Yeah, I'm not a financial planner. You have to do your own due diligence and understand that this is the narrative. And if they're buying it, there's a reason for it. So don't listen to what they're saying and watch what they do. But anyway, so guys, that's what I just wanted to put out. And I had to rush it quick. I have to do another thing for another one of our business on another channel on Facebook. But I just wanted to point that out to you guys. Understand this and never forget it. A good friend of mine says, you know, nobody wants you to win. That's not true. I want you to win. The reality is old money doesn't want you to win. Old money doesn't want you to win. We are in the midst of the greatest transfer of wealth in the history of man. Are you participating? Or are you standing on the sidelines? Old money doesn't want you to win. Never forget that. Old money does not want you to win. Here's what I do know. Here's what I do know for you. The battle for you has already been fought, and the victory is yours. Will you go get it? I'll talk to you soon, guys. See ya.